This is Cydni.
And I'm Sher. And each week we get together to share with you a message of hope.
It is through our own study and our personal experiences that we offer the reminder to not only seek the light,
but be the light. You can find peace, and there is hope.
And as long as one of us is slightly caffeinated, there will be laughter.
Today's episode is the pursuit of happiness.
And we're so glad you're here.
I'm forging my way through the tip top. I'm living my life through the drip drop when eternity's
So Cydni, as we discussed last week, this entire year, we are going to investigate and research and take a deep dive into pursuing happiness. And obviously, we got that phrase from the Declaration of Independence. And so today we wanted to talk about what does the pursuit of happiness actually mean?
I like that we're going with pursuing, as if it's something that we're never going to catch. Not happiness, but the pursuing of happiness, as if you have a carrot dangling in front of your face for your entire life.
Why do I feel like I'm in a Bugs Bunny cartoon all of a sudden?
Really?
Yeah.
That's happier than I was going for. Picture Bugs Bunny, but like emo Bugs Bunny. That's what I'm going for.
Now I feel like I'm at work.
That's what we're going for. But in the pursuing of happiness, I did want to say, I did read that there's only two types of people in this world who don't feel sadness or pain. And one is a psychopath, and the other is a dead person. So I decided to pick one of them because I don't want to feel pain or sadness, but I won't say which one I'm picking. I'm just going to say I'm still alive. So do the math.
And I'm stuck in the basement with you. Why do you keep doing this? You say these things and then you leave me in the basement by myself, defenseless. Just me and Rudy.
So I'm just shutting the door right now. I didn't hear what you said. I feel nothing.
So moving on, Cydni, now that you've scared all of us, I thought maybe we should do a quick review of what natural rights are. Natural rights are gifts from God that everyone gets because we're his children. He gives them to all of his children and all creatures, animals that he has created. In the Declaration of Independence, it says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are the gifts that were given to us by God. Therefore, no man or woman can take them away because they are not gifts from a man or a woman or a king or a dictator. They're from God. Because they are from God, only God can take them away." So I'm going to give you an example.
I'm so glad you're giving me an example and not quizzing me, because one time when you explained this, I got it right. One time when you quizzed me, I got it wrong. And I just don't want to roll the dice today on the third.
Well, let's just,
No.
hey, no tiebreakers.
To know that I know the answer.
I know you know.
I know, me too.
Okay.
Continue teaching,
All right.
teacher.
So here's the example. Let's say that my nephew had a hippo that he absolutely loved. He loved this hippo so much and he named it Trudy. But his life was crazy and he was always busy and always working. And so he wanted to find Trudy, his beloved hippo, a new home, someone that would love Trudy just as much as he does and that would take care of it. So as he began the pursuit of finding Trudy, the hippo, a new home, his parents found out about it. And it just so happens that his parents are the ones who bought and gave Trudy the hippo to him as a gift. He was so excited to have this gift, but now he wants to give it away. But when his parents found out, they said, "We bought Trudy, so now we're going to choose where Trudy lives." And then his mom, let's just pretend that his mom then called me, my sister-in-law, and asked if I would take Trudy off of his hands because Trudy was a gift, and the gift giver now gets to decide what to do with that gift. Does that story sound familiar at all?
With Rudy? I was thinking you can't say dog and Trudy because you have a dog named Rudy. That's where my brain was at. But what did I miss?
Nothing. It's really what happened.
Oh, right. So obvious. And it went right over my head.
I
I was like, is there a conspiracy
No,
theory?
there's not.
Elon Musk.
No, there's not it.
Beyonce is a... Just kidding.
All right. So if God gives us a gift, no man or woman, dictator, king, whoever, they do not have control over life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those are all gifts, like Trudy, that we get to cultivate. But the only person that has, again, the right to take away that gift is our Father in heaven. And this is why tyrants, if you've ever noticed this on any of the old coins or anything back in the day, it says that tyrants are an enemy to God because they are taking away gifts that they didn't give. God gave them to us.
Okay, but obviously the thing to do right now for my brain is to talk about unnatural gifts. I know you're talking about natural gifts, but could we just take a moment and talk about giving unnatural gifts? And this for me is obviously if someone gives you a gift that you don't want, like in 2015 when my son at his birthday got a real live fish. Someone gave him a fish that was alive and needed tending to. This is an unnatural gift. And so while we're here, it's just a good opportunity to teach a lesson that you should not give unnatural gifts to people. Sher, someone should not do that. I wasn't trying to imply that you did it because you didn't.
I didn't.
But people were like, don't even worry about it. Fish die. They die fast, like 3 to 6 months. Guess who lived for 3.5 years? A goldfish named Charless. It was Charless because Rock couldn't say Charles. Lived for 3.5 years. So honestly, this is the same thing. I know you're following. It's the same thing because just like you shouldn't take away someone's natural hippo gift, you shouldn't give an unnaturally long living fish gift. And just in case the person who did this is listening, thank you for the very thoughtful gift. We really appreciate your kindness. It's not you, it's me, and I forgive you. I just wanted to take an opportunity to tie that together.
I don't know if it tied. I think you were just venting.
No, it ties together. Don't get off topic. Don't lose track. Stay on point. Sher.
I am staying on point. I'm just still trying to figure out what you're talking about.
Just don't give a kid a fish, Don't give a natural gift. God would never do that to you.
So I just want to point out that unnatural gift givers and tyrants are not going to be happy in the next life.
Well, I mean, I don't wish that upon this person. They're a really lovely person, but I just thought maybe we could use that as an opportunity to learn a lesson. That's all. I hope they're happy in the next life, but not those tyrants.
So getting back to the point, today we're going to focus not on unnatural gifts, but we are going to focus just on one natural gift that God gave us, and that is the right to pursue happiness. I thought that maybe we could start with a little bit of history of this phrase. The first draft of the Declaration of Independence said, life, liberty, and property were our natural rights. So for the founders to be able to acquire property, your own things, your own stuff, that was happiness because they believed that if you work for it, you get to keep it. As I was reading about this, it reminded me of what we are taught in the scriptures that God has said, and then shall ye have joy in the fruit of your labors. There is joy and happiness in working and learning and bettering yourself.
I don't know, Sher. That sounds like a conspiracy theory to me. It's like a mom being like, hey, buddy, if you make your bed, you're going to be so happy. Empty the dishwasher, good guy. You're going to have joy in your life. I'm just saying it sounds like a lie. Work hard. You'll feel happy. Sounds like a lie, but it's not a lie. That's what we're here to talk about.
Right. Since God said it, I would say that it's probably not a lie.
Oh, right. There's that piece, that little detail.
But then this is the cool thing is that once you work and you have property and things and stuff, you get to pass it down to your children, just like God has done to us. He's given us a beautiful world to live in and plants and animals and air and gravity and all of these wonderful and beautiful gifts. And you also get to pass down gifts to your children. And you get to share it with whomever you want to. You can be your own boss and you get to enjoy the fruits of your own labor. And a king can't take that away from you. The king or the dictator doesn't own it. Now, the reason this is important is remember that back in the day, that the king and queens were only letting you borrow the land and borrow things. They owned all of it and they could take away anything they wanted to whenever they felt like it.
Actually, Sher, speaking of this, did you know in Scotland you could purchase land right now? It's just like a tiny bit, like it's like enough to put your foot on it, I believe. But then you could actually be a lord or a lady if you purchase land online. Did you know that?
I thought that was a scam.
It's probably a scam, but that aside, I did buy it.
Of course you did.
I bought it from my oldest when he was 11 for Christmas. And I just thought it'd be cool because it says you could put on your license, Lord Rock. Only for like a few weeks, he made us call him Lord.
He doesn't now?
No, I think he forgot about it. The certificate's like lost in his certificates of whatever else is out there.
I would think a teenager would want that.
Yes. He doesn't remember that he's a lord. Well, Thank goodness.
That's a blessing.
He's like, I have my own land. I'll do things the way I want.
You need to destroy that right now.
I will seize his property at once.
All right. So a reason that Thomas Jefferson and friends decided to change the word property to happiness was because some of the slave owners latched onto that word property when they read it. And at the time, there were a lot of founders that really wanted to free the slaves. In fact, in the first draft of the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson wrote that slavery was a cruel war against human nature itself, violating its most sacred rights of life and liberty. So clearly, most of the founders understood how evil slavery is. And so they wanted to include that in the Declaration of Independence. But there were some slave owners, especially the ones that lived in the Deep South, they didn't want to free the slaves. And then they used that word property to say slaves are our property. Therefore, they could not be taken away from them. Now the founders were in a mess because they really needed all 13 colonies to stick together, or else there was no way they were going to be able to defeat Britain. So they changed the wording, unfortunately, in order for us to make a stand for freedom. They took that phrase out, freeing the slaves, but Thomas Jefferson wasn't done. He wanted to kind of stick it to the people that wanted to keep the slaves. And so he changed the word property to pursuit of happiness because it was an individual working, taking action to create or building your own happiness. And obviously slaves can't do that. They're getting that right taken away because slavery is cruel. As Thomas Jefferson said, slavery is a cruel war against human nature itself. And so that's why they changed the word from property to pursuing happiness, is for that reason. Our founders also explained what pursuing happiness meant to them. Of course, we talked about how happiness is acquiring your own space and stuff, but they also made sure that people understood that it's not the pursuit of just feeling good or doing whatever you want. It's pursuing your, and this is the important part, it's pursuing your purpose, pursuing what God has called you to do. And again, happiness is not a guarantee. It's something you should be in constant pursuit of.
Oh, the same guy that said that there's only two people who don't feel anything, the psychopath or a dead person, that guy?
I'm so afraid of this.
I mean, I might have twisted his words a tiny bit. What is he going to do about it? But he did say something else along these lines, which I really liked. He's a professor of happiness at Harvard, which I think is a pretty cool profession. But he says there is a paradox when it comes to pursuing happiness. They found that people who value and seek after happiness tended to be much less happy. Isn't that interesting?
What?
Yeah, it's something to do with an expectation that you are so focused on happiness that you're not actually ever catching it. I'm going to paraphrase what he said. To resolve this issue, you must pursue happiness indirectly. Let happiness think that you're going to make a left, but then you make a right. Actually, speaking of right, Sher, you want to know something that's not right at all?
Please tell us.
Left. Rock told me this last night and I laughed so hard. Gosh. He got me so good. I laughed. I was like, you're going to make a great dad one day. You got the jokes ready.
He does. That was a perfect dad joke.
I know. And it made sense with this too. So basically, you have to seek it indirectly. So he said to think of it like this. If you look directly at the sun hurts your eyes. If you break down the sunlight into elements, then you can see the colors of the rainbow. If you look around, you can enjoy the things that the sun is showing, right? And it reminds me of that C.S. Lewis quote. He says, I believe in Christianity as I believe that the sun has risen, not only because I see it, but because by it I see everything else. So he said, what are we to make of all of this? He said he uses what's called the SPIRE, and this is what it stands for. S is spiritual, P is physical, I intellectual, R relational, and E is emotional. He says happiness is a whole being. So happiness is the sun, and if you focus on what you see because of it, then spiritually, you understand your purpose and your divine identity. Physically, you take care of yourself because you understand your value. Intellectually, you keep learning. Or as we learned last week, you keep creating. And relationships, he talks about that it's the number one predictor of real happiness. It's spending time with people you care about and who care about you. And emotional was to be grateful because you're going to have pain, you're going to have trials, but you can choose to be grateful and understand what could come of a good attitude towards it. He said it's a lifetime journey, or maybe a lifetime of pursuing.
That does make sense, because if you are just gazing, so to speak, at happiness and just looking at it, but then you're not doing anything about it, you're just like, there's happiness over there, why don't I have it? It's kind of the same idea. It's you need to take action and do something with it. And so throughout this life, we should continue to build our lives in such a way that you can build a happy life. And what you said is so perfect, because it's not just the pursuit of happiness is not just stuff, but it's being in pursuit of good, because that is what helps us to be happy, like what you just said. And as we pursue or we work for that happiness, or we beautify that space or our property, or we better ourselves intellectually, we can pass all of that down or pay it forward or share it. It's not meant to be kept under a bushel. It's something that God wants us to share with others, just like he shares his happiness with us. It's the same idea. One more historical point. Pursuing happiness back in the day was a really common phrase. It was like saying something like, shoot the breeze. It doesn't really mean shoot the breeze. It means, hey, let's sit and chat for a while, right? It's a phrase like that. So a natural right of pursuing happiness means you work for it, you get to keep it and determine what to do with it. That's what it meant. And everyone knew that back in the day. It was just a common phrase. Everyone understood it. And again, remember, this is something that dictators were trying to take away. You worked for it, but you gave it all to the king. And then the king got to determine what was going to happen with it. But they understood God's law. That's an individual right. We get to do that because that's a gift from God. All people, all creatures, all animals get to determine that. And that's something that was worth fighting for. Another thing I want to bring up is something that we learned last week. Our Heavenly Father is perfectly happy. He does this by creating beautiful spaces. He created animals. He created plants. He created the world. He created us, his children. And he also shows compassion to all of us. Creating and having compassion are both action words. And this is our birthright that God gave us. He wants us to follow his example and pursue the creation of beautiful spaces and things and share it like he has. And he wants us to pursue compassion and love our neighbor like he does. As his children, we can live up to our birthright by pursuing and working to be happy. And this is why pursuit of happiness is a natural right. And it's why our founders put it in the Declaration of Independence. This is how we can live up to our birthright. It's a gift from our Father in heaven.
I love the idea that those are action words. As we've studied, we've seen a few times that happiness is a skill. It's something that we can choose to intentionally work on. And with the idea from the Harvard professor that happiness is the light that is going to shine on the things that matter most to us. It's giving us the vision to see all the things to be grateful for. Of course, that happiness can be taken away if you give a child an animal on their birthday that wasn't approved.
Perfect. And now for our final thoughts. The pursuit of happiness, rooted in both faith and America's founding ideals, is a divine gift. Happiness is a God-given natural right that no tyrant or ruler can take away. Just as Jefferson and the founders emphasized, happiness isn't about instant gratification, but about pursuing your purpose, bettering yourself, and building a meaningful life. Through hard work, self-reliance, and the joy of creation, we show gratitude for these gifts by passing them down to future generations and sharing them with others. Happiness, like freedom, requires action and purpose, reminding us to continually seek good and building a life that reflects that it is our birthright to be happy as sons and daughters of an eternal Father in heaven.
We challenge you this week to spend one moment and think about something that genuinely makes you feel so happy. And then we challenge you to feel deep gratitude for that one thing.
This is our prayer
From Cydni and Sher.
I'm forging my way through the tip top. I'm living my life through the drip drop. When eternity's plan, I just can't stop. I'm making my way through the drip drop.
You could say happy, happy, joy, joy.
you could.
Do you know where that's from? Happy, happy, joy, joy. Ren and Stimpy. Remember watching that
No,
as a child?
I was older.
Do you remember watching that as an adult? Happy, happy, joy, joy. Well, we better get to talking about Jesus then.
I know. You ready?
Hallelujah. A goldfish named Charless. It was Charless because Rock couldn't say Charlie. Charlie's. Wait, what was it? Charles. I can't say Charles anymore either. You said Charless for years. You love history.
I do.
And you are history.
I'm ready to go. Thanks a lot. I'll be dead soon. Okay.
You are history.
No, thanks a lot.
Show me where it says that in the Bible. Just kidding. It says it like 47 times. Don't show me. All right, Sher, but I'm going to tell you some more updated common phrases for this generation, for Gen Alpha.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Okay, does anyone want to phantom tax your Giat?
Excuse me?
Yeah, that means does anyone have a crush on you?
How about this one from the 1700s? To make a pig's ear of it.
What does that mean?
To mess something up entirely.
Okay, here's another one. Just let him cook. He knows what he's doing. That means to allow someone to continue what they're doing, just to see it through.
That kind of makes sense. Speaking of cooking, don't mind Rudy in the background. How about a dish of chatter?
How about this? She really had a glow up over the summer. She must have been mewing. That means to glow up means to transform to a better version of yourself. Mewing is a technique to enhance your facial features and jaw.
Interesting. I didn't tell you what a dish of chatter was, though.
Oh,
It's gossip or
Sorry.
idle talk, which is kind of what we're doing right now. Idle talk, but not gossiping.
sorry that I cut you off.
That's okay.
It's just that I'm feeling the main character energy today, which means a specific type of confidence and charismatic attitude.
Well, don't have a feather or fly with it, which means don't be totally broke or destitute because you're the main character.
All right, I only have one more. You are such a clip farmer. That means someone always looking for attention. I'm not projecting.
I was going to say that would be you, or how about this? To come a cropper, which is to fail badly or fall head first. And with that, this really is the end of this episode.
Adios.